one of these users, but not the other, wants to sort this data or apply a filter, that's the case for a filter view, all right? So if you were working alone, then it would be easier to just go to data and create a filter. You're going to have the same capabilities, but you won't have the added overhead. It wants you to name the filter, and it add some other things that we'll look at. But let's say that you know you want a filter view because you're sharing it. So right now we will dig into how that works. We're going to say this account, Adam Steinfurth, a wonderful person. It's me. Aha. I want to sort the data because I want to do that as kind of a shortcut for adding things up and picking the ranges easily. So that's the concept that we'll go with. I will come in here and say create new filter view. And a few things to keep in mind. One is the range. I didn't fill that in. Okay, it guessed for me. It happened to guess right because I use a fake table generator and I made 1,000 rows. So I know 1001 is right because there's a header row. And it goes all the way over to F. So typically this range is going to be pre-filled. It will probably guess right, but you probably want to double check it. And then it wants a name. So you want to name it if you plan on making more than one filter view. And you can even share these filter views so the other person it would help them to know what it was. So we'll just call this one sorted by country. And we change that name. We will go to the column that's labeled country. And all of these little kind of upside down triangles are indicators that there's a control there. And if you click on it, it will show the control. And from here, you sort or filter. It's called a filter view, but you can also sort. Let's just use it to sort. And the spreadsheet is now sorted by country in this user's view, right? In Adam's view. But Michael over here on the right, he has the original sort. And this sort happens to be by ID number. This works pretty well. All right. I've used it with other users. And as long as you're just reading the data or maybe making some edits inside of the table, everything works great. Okay. Row 2 is ID 22. So I can find it over here for Michael. This is the same row. This is 14. So if I change this to 17, it updates in both views. So that filter view still allows you to get to the underlying data. Well, one more thing to keep in mind though is if Michael, you may, let's message Michael, even though he's right next to us. For Michael, we're going to add a comment here and we're going to be all advanced here and we're going to do the @ sign. So we're going to mention Michael and we'll say, hey, try my filter. It's called, even though there's only one right now, sorted by country. And I'm going to even assign that to Michael's because I want him to do it. So that was, I kind of just wanted to show you the comments. But that was a long way of showing how now Michael can go into this spreadsheet. He can go to data, filter views, and the sorted by country filter is here for him too. So it is specific. It gets attached to the spreadsheet file. If you share this file with someone else later, they're also going to see these filter views. But if you create a new spreadsheet, they're not going to be there. But if Michael were to apply this, scroll up to the top, his data is in the same order as Adam's data. But there are also a couple of things to keep in mind when you use them. So I'm going to take it off on the right-hand side and I'm going to kind of break a formula, if you will. You'll see why it happens and it just make you think a little bit to be careful when you work in filter views. So let's go up to row 1 through 6. Let's insert 6 rows above. Does it on both sides. And let's go back to Adam's view. And we're going to say sum of Afghan, how do you spell Afghanistan? Not like I'm trying, sum of Afghanistan. And what we want to do is pick up these two amounts. there's the amounts associated with the people that live in Afghanistan. And an easy way to do it, that's not going to be very durable, as you'll see, is to say, hey, sum F8 through F9. So these row numbers stay the same, but the data moves in them. So you're going to see what's happening here. You can probably guess. The sum of Afghanistan here is correctly shown as 105. All right, so I highlight the 2 and I go in the lower right hand corner of this window and I can see 105, so that's verifying that that's right. But when you come over to the right, it's 163. Now, is it broken, or is it that's the way it's supposed to work? I mean, this person probably knows you have a filter view on, but they're seeing incorrect data. So be careful of this. If you have, this is kind of a specific circumstance, you may or may not see it, but in this case, what you could do is just do sum if. And let's see, the first one is the criteria range. So we want to sum if. Less talking, more typing. 1008 should work better. Okay. Yep. So it's 105 in both of them, no matter how you sort it. So let's just sort this backwards. Still a 105. All right. So some things to watch out for. One more thing to watch out for is there is at least one function that I know of in Google Sheets that has functionality to be aware of and treat hidden cells differently. So that would be the subtotal function. If you're using this with a 3-digit code, so let's say a 109, that's a function code of 9, but ignoring hidden cells. So that's also going to work differently. That one's a little bit more obscure. Probably don't lose any sleep over that one. And the last thing to talk about, and I think it's a good thing to remain aware of, as you've seen, filter views are really handy. I've used them. I think they're good. But if you just want to do a filter for presenting the data and you're not going to be editing it, you know it's in its final form, there's an alternative that you can do that may be a little bit cleaner and faster. Let's delete this on the top just to clean things up. Get rid of the filter view. And what you could do is make a new sheet. So I've already done that when I was goofing around, and just use the filter function. So there's filter function, there's sort, there's all sorts of different ones. It's all sorts of different sorts. And if you give that the criteria, you can say, filter this range just for Afghanistan. That's going to output a table that has just the filter data. And if something does change in the source data, this will update as well. But you can't modify the output of the filter. It will just output what's in the source data. So the filter function, we're going to link to a video that explains a little bit more about it. Could be an alternative to filter views, depending on what you're doing. I really enjoyed having you for another spreadsheet video. I've put that video about the filter function on the screen right now if you want to check that out. You know, who doesn't want to watch more videos about spreadsheets, right? So I'll see you in that next one. Thanks.